My presentation topic is police usage of social media with association with steroids and bodybuilding. Throughout this presentation, I will discuss the introduction to the topic, identify the theoretical course concepts, the data that I've collected, discuss what this data means, and how it associates with the concepts. Lastly, I will conclude and summarize the main points on this topic. I am interested in the crime media dynamic and its association with bodybuilding and steroid use. In order to build up further knowledge on this topic, I am looking into how the police manage their perceptions and images through the media, with the portrayal of the masculinity of bodybuilding and officers' usage of doping. I am researching it through the view of cultural criminology and the aspect of how this type of police culture is formed through the mobile and social media. I want to understand how the theoretical concept of cultural criminology is associated with the law enforcement's use of the media and their image they want to create. Furthermore, the data that I've collected for this topic is a variation of photos, as you can see on the slide here, that demonstrate the hypermasculine stereotypical behavior. On further slides through this presentation, I will provide videos that are a prime example of advertising the bodybuilding image through social media and that stereotypical behavior of strength and power. I have also identified the sample case of six-year police veteran that participated in the use of steroids and seeking that bodybuilder image. I further analyzed law enforcement strategy in relation to how they construct their media platforms to increase their digital footprint for a police officer to pose in front of the camera and flex to show off their physiques. It's just not only for them to look good, but for the public to like, comment, and react to such behavior. On the next slide, I will identify the theoretical and course concept that relate to this topic. Now that we have the basic understanding of the topic, as most may already know, the role of police is the most widely covered profession through the media, whether it is on the news, on TV shows, etc. By using theoretical concepts such as hypermasculinity, mobile and social media, cultural criminology, and how they can help identify the procedures in which the police construct themselves through the media. The police's relationship with traditional media has changed over the years. They were once portrayed as darling heroes of society, however, now the public is beginning to lose their trust with their police force. Police officers believe that if they portray the image of strength and power with bodybuilding, doping, it actually makes the public more unsure and untrustworthy of their policing community. We can frame these interpretations by looking at police officers' personal social media accounts and take notice of the content they post online. These theoretical frameworks help us frame our interpretations of how we think of crime in the media and the police actions through the media. It makes us question what mobile and social media creates as a social framework and how the police uses that to their advantage. By understanding the concepts and associating them with the police use of the media, we can begin to dissect and interpret their strategies they use to portray themselves. Furthermore, in many instances where a lot of these cases of misconduct or steroid use is dismissed and brushed under the table because it is just simpler to let it go rather than actually dealing with the issue. I will elaborate more on the next two slides with the data I have found, and we can visually see the stereotypical behavior that they are trying to portray. I sampled 8 videos from TikTok and 5 photos from Instagram. 2 of the photos you previously viewed are on the introduction slide. The 6 other videos are on the next couple of slides. That said, as what we can view from the photos and videos, we can see a trend. As I did the research in finding these photos and videos, they are all posing at certain angles, flexing, and they are all in uniform, showing off their muscular bodies. This is just a few examples of how the police exhibit their bodybuilding figures through the media for likes, shares, and comments. This police officer in the center photo has over 27,000 followers on his Instagram account alone, and there are many other accounts just like his. However, he had the most content available, and he really portrays the image of hypermasculinity. Furthermore, it was easily accessible through mobile and social media to find his page. I used hashtags like #policemuscle, #policefitness, and #bluelinebeast. By using these hashtags, it pulled up a post.
Let's go!
A police. Here are the 3 more videos that I mentioned on the last slide that I have collected for this topic. On this slide, we can see another video from the police officer that I spoke about on the previous slide posing shirtless in the gym. The other 2 videos demonstrate other ways the police like to portray themselves through the media. The video on the left is a police officer doing a TikTok trend, but he's using that trend to show off his body and the fact that he's a man in uniform. Lastly, the video on the right is a group of police officers doing push-ups together, but as you can see, they focus more on the police officer who has that bodybuilding physique, and by the end, the police officer is demonstrating strength and power and masculinity by doing push-ups with one of his colleagues on his back. Now, we cannot say for sure these police officers are using steroids because we could just be profiling them, or they can simply deny they're even taking them, even though it doesn't appear as such. There are a few bad apples in the force. It is just a matter of identifying them and addressing it. Because the use of steroids are illegal, therefore the police officers should abide by the law, and they have the power to get an edge on offenders, just like the police veteran that I mentioned at the beginning.
No face, no case. Bet I hit the first night, first date. Put that thing all on my face. Do what I say, what I say. No. The Brooklyn boys, so for one last time I need y'all to roll. Now what the hell are you waiting for? After me, there should be no more. So for one last time, nigga, make some noise. Get him, Jay. Who you know fresher than Ho? Riddle me that. The rest of y'all know where I'm lyrically at. Can none of y'all mirror me back? Yeah, hear me rap, it's like hand G rapping his prime. I'm young H.O., raps Grateful Dead. Back to take over the globe, now break bread. I'm in Boeing.
Now left foot, right foot, now left foot, right foot, now left foot, right foot, now left foot. One hand, 2 hands, 2 hands. Hit your rollie, do your dance, Now lean with it, rock with it, lean with it, rock with it.
The ways in which the police use media today is part of a sharing culture that they use their own self-representation of policing into a cultural force. To interpret the data that I have collected through the lenses of cultural criminology, it helps us better understand the patterns and structure in which the police use to construct their image through crime in the media. This can include expanding their digital footprint with likes, shares, and comments from the public who support what the police are trying to do. It helps identify new and old ways of policing with their interactions of the media. We see far too often now that police chiefs allow this type of misconduct in the force, and they acknowledge that it's a breach of their officers' right to privacy. However, just before social media became such an uprise, police officers were being punished for doping and getting really muscular too fast. It is interesting to see the changes within mainstream media and how it can change one's perceptions on a particular topic and how they address it. It's a narcissistic identification way of thinking. We see it through the media every day, whether it is visual or factual. My connection of cultural criminology to the sample case of bodybuilding and steroid use in the media is just the beginning of something much deeper. It is a topic that should be researched more to gather more data. In conclusion, police, crime, and the media and its association with steroid use and bodybuilding is a controversial topic. The police's management of social media leads to negative effects because the issues become dismissed and are allowed to still continue to portray a dangerous image through mobile and social media. The dynamic of bodybuilding steroid use associated with the police, crime, and the media faces scrutiny from the public. However, they still continue to interpret the media the way they want by taking pictures of themselves flexing a uniform, as an example. By applying cultural criminology and other theoretical concepts like hypermasculinity, it helps us view policing, bodybuilding, and steroid use in a certain way, but if we continue to research this topic and look at it from other theoretical perspectives, it can make us have a different perception on the topic. Because remember, these frameworks help us frame our own interpretations. The evolution of bodybuilding steroid use has grew over the years, and it'll be interesting to see the outcomes that continue to occur in police forces and how they will continue to maintain their presences in mainstream media. Thank you. On this slide is the rest of the data I've collected. We can still view the police officers I mentioned on the past slides. We can also view different interpretations of the police forming their own media strategy, by either taking their presence in their communities or while on the job still in uniform. Posting photos flexing possesses that role of masculinity and their interpretation of the bodybuilder role. This type of imagery allows us to analyze the ways in which the police chooses to present themselves through the eyes of the media, so we can interpret what we are viewing and how we are viewing it. Officers posing through the media.